Welcome to the 9th annual Concert for Peace with Art exhibit. And I'm thrilled to see you all here and to share music and art related to the theme of utopia. I thought it might be good to look into the origins of utopia as a word. Sir Thomas More coined the word utopia in his political satire from 1516 about a fictional island society. He combined the two Greek word parts, ou, meaning no, with topia, from topos, or place, to create the idea of a place that does not exist. Somewhere along the way, utopia, or no place, became utopia, meaning good place. Maybe this happened because utopia and utopia sound so alike, but maybe we managed to capture what More was ultimately attempting to describe, a good place, as his subtitle makes clear, of the best state of a republic and on the new island of utopia. Recently, I've wondered whether utopia and utopia are one and the same. Perhaps we only encounter utopia in fiction, music, and art because no real place could ever be the good place. We hear about mass shootings, police brutality, and violent xenophobia in the news every day, and I ask myself, where could I possibly go that doesn't have this sickness? Practically every other country surpasses the United States in the category of gun control. But what country isn't in the throes of anti-democratic sentiment right now, either directly or indirectly? What country can claim that they've built a society where everything works for everybody? More's utopia featured 2 slaves for each household. I guess he thought this was okay because the slaves were either people captured by the utopians in battle, people who committed terrible crimes within utopia, or people who had committed crimes in other countries and were being saved from death by their conscription into slavery. Even in this fictional world where More's creative license was limitless, his utopia could not escape violence and subjugation. I have to say, slavery definitely isn't in my utopia. And by the way, I figure I can play with Greek word parts as well as the next guy, so I'm shortening my utopia to mytopia. In mytopia, there is a ban on assault weapons. In mytopia, we eat only plant-based foods. In mytopia, the arts get as much attention and funding as sports. In mytopia, the doomsday clock is not set for 90 seconds until midnight. In fact, there is no doomsday clock, and I could go on. I know I spend too much time wringing my hands about everything that's going wrong, and I'm trying to turn that around and look for positive solutions. I understand that there is a fundamental problem in defining what the good place is for everyone, but we must begin somewhere, starting a dialogue, welcoming diversity and new perspectives, and expanding our worldview may be the first steps on our path to the good place, a society where everything works for everybody. That's what's so impressive to me about Hands of Peace. They are fostering dialogue that can lead to real change in the Middle East and beyond. I hope this concert and exhibit will encourage you to imagine your utopia and to take those first steps towards achieving it. Jade Mays, our first soloist, suggested this song for the concert, and it's been in my head for weeks. It's by Avi Kaplan, who has gone on to a solo career after being in the a cappella vocal group Pentatonics. And one little note, I realized that we have 3 pieces in the first half of the concert that are in the key of D. I was going to mention D minor as being the saddest of all keys, but I wasn't sure everyone would know that Spinal Tap reference. But it is a very comfortable key for string players, so I want you to sink into that comfortable D and find some peace.
Keep walking, keep talking, keep climbing to the summit. Keep shaming, keep taming those voices in my mind. Oh, 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 oh. A straight face, the same game, I can't shake what I'm becoming. No pain and no gain, yeah, I've fallen out of line. Oh, 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 oh. Settling down to the summit. Looking around over the clouds all alone. Waiting around, all I wanted. My home, home, home. My home, home, home. Ooh, I know it won't be long. Ooh, and I'll keep walking on. Air's thin, I can't win, but I still keep running. I can't breathe, I can't see, but I'm headed for that light. Oh, 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 oh. Settling down to the summit. Looking around over the clouds all alone. Waiting around, all I wanted. My home, home, home. My home, home, home. Ooh, I know it won't be long. Ooh, and I'll keep walking on. Ooh, I know it won't be long. Ooh, and I'll keep walking on. Ooh, I know it won't be long. Ooh, and I'll keep walking on.
Matthew Wasik is a young composer, and I don't think I have my mic on. Yeah, it is. Matthew Wasik is a young composer. I programmed one of his pieces on the last Concert for Peace, and once again, my friend Michael Duff arranged his music for us. And by the way, Matthew's mother, Sophia, has 4 pieces in the art exhibit, which you'll be able to enjoy after the concert. I have found Matthew's title, Everwood Forest, to be very evocative, and I know there's an Everwood Forest in my Utopia. I'm going to ask our bassist Ken Habuk, who wrote the next piece, to tell us about Irini Agon Irini.
So this piece is called Irini Egnon Irini, peace, conflict, peace, those three words in English roughly translated. To Greek, Irini, Agon Irini. This piece is about, as I looked at the title, which came first, I thought, well, peace is basically surrounding the conflict. So that's a good and hopeful sign. The general narrative for this piece is drawn from conflicts, global conflicts, wars, but especially not so much wars, but the battles in the wars. I was dwelling on the Greek Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta for some of this, although I didn't dive too far down, and then some of the other images are drawn from what we see in the media from the war in Ukraine. So in this piece, the two performers are basically trying to embody the struggle between peace and conflict. Each of the roles are adapting and changing. The form of this piece is sort of like the middle of a jigsaw puzzle, where actually specifically the middle of a jigsaw puzzle that doesn't have a picture to follow. So there's a lot of round interlocking edges. There's one little corner of a piece that you can sort of hang everything on. I'll leave you, the listener, to decide where that corner might be. Thanks be to Katherine for putting together this concert and curating it 9 years in a row. Thank you, Katherine, for always answering my question with, yes, of course. And the question I ask is, could I present some of my own music? And the answer is, yes, of course. Thank you, Katherine. The last thing I'd like to say is this piece would not be possible in performance without the extraordinary talents of Kent Wayman on the piano and Kevin Kizer on the alto sax. Kevin with his, you'll find his daring do's, his feats of daring do. Irini Egnon Irini.
I would like to bring up Emily Kenward, who is the Chicago area site director of Hands of Peace, and will also take a collection of your free will donations at this time.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Concert for Peace. As Katherine said, my name is Emily Kenward, and I am the Chicago Site Director. But I'm also an alumna of the Hands of Peace Summer Program. I participated as a hand or a first-year participant in 2015, and again as an XL or a second-year participant in 2016. For more than 20 years, Hands of Peace has been empowering youth from Israel, Palestine, and the United States to become agents of change. Through workshops and dialogue sessions, our summer program builds connections across identities, borders, and faiths. This July, we are excited to invite 42 participants, hands and XLs, which is very exciting, to our site in San Diego, as well as 42 participants to our site right here at Glenview Community Church, to begin their journey to becoming peace builders. The Hands of Peace Summer Program takes a village, and I would just like to take a moment to thank all of the former host families, volunteers, and any alumni in the room, as well as any board members, current and past. Thank you so much, again, to just make the Hands of Peace Summer Program so much richer. We are also currently looking for host families to provide a safe home away from home for our participants and staff this summer. Host families enrich the summer program experience and are often transformed themselves in the process. Information about hosting can be found on our website, and applications are still open for first-year participants to join us this summer. If you know a high school student interested in a life-changing summer experience, please direct them to our website before March 22nd. I will also be available after the event to answer any of your questions. Finally, a huge thank you to Catherine Hughes, along with Tanya McCarthy, Cheryl Long, Betsy Martin, Laura Heiser, Robin Woodsum, and then Lisa Nodder and Debbie Fosdick, who cannot be here this evening, for organizing and inviting all of you to this event. And thank you so much to Glenview Community Church for being our home for so many years. Israel and Palestine have currently seen an exponential rise in violence over the past several months. But community action such as this concert, as well as the summer program, really is what gives me hope. So thank you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Jean Langlais was a 20th century French composer and organist who was blind from the age of 2. I have loved his music for a long time. I was introduced to La Nativité, the Nativity, a piece of his when I was very young. It's a programmatic work that has sections representing various scenes and characters, and it's just so colorful. But I love this piece as well, and I think it does a great job of depicting its title, Song of Peace. It is contemplative, but not static. Koyaanisqatsi is a Hopi word that means life out of balance. Philip Glass wrote the music for the 1982 experimental film of that name. The filmmakers didn't intend to make an explicit statement about the effect of technology on our natural world. They left the viewer to draw his own conclusions. I wanted to include this on the concert because I feel we human beings need to somehow find a peaceful coexistence between our technology and our environment. And also, I don't think you can have an event called Utopia and not present some of the dystopian as well. Organic is part of the minimalist genre of music. The changes that occur are very subtle, but that somehow makes them more important. Elliot Dvorin has been a musical colleague for several years now, and he heads a group called the Kitov Orchestra and has several really popular YouTube videos. There are translations in the program of the 2 songs with Hebrew texts. I love the line from Bashana Haba, "You will yet see how good it will be next year." So hopeful and so wistful, and it fits so well with the utopian theme. And then Salam is a fun arrangement with a simple yet again very hopeful outlook. Peace will come upon us and the whole world. After Alik's tunes, I call him Alik, that's his nickname, we will have a short intermission which will allow us to set up for the Turkish ensemble group Yakamoz. And there will be donation baskets outside the doors and also folks to direct you wherever you need to go. And the second half will hold some surprises. There will be more D, but we will try out some different keys as well and ultimately end up in the very utopian key of B major. So you won't want to miss that.
בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. ענבים אדומים יבשילו עד הערב ויוגשו צוננים לשולחן, ורוחות רדומים ייסעו אליהם הדרך, עיתונים ישנים וענן. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Seasons come, seasons go, but people never seem to know how long it will rain or it will shine. Let them ask what will be. It doesn't mean a thing to me. I know what will be when you're mine. Any time of the year I can look in your eyes, and the rain in the sky doesn't fall. Any time of the year you are here in my arms, there is sunshine in no time at all. Lie, 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 בשנה הבאה. shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu, otavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
I figure if I start talking, maybe you'll come back. Or maybe it'll drive you away. I really don't know for sure. Anyway, I love the name of this group, Yakamoz, which means reflection of moonlight on the water, and there's lots of that in Mytopia. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Iqbal Koseli of the Turkish American Society, who has been an invaluable ally over the past years. She has introduced me to musicians and artists and has been such a foundational supporter of the concert and exhibit. And my heart goes out to our Turkish friends who have suffered such losses due to the devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. So I am going to attempt to announce these pieces that they're playing, and please forgive my Turkish pronunciations. Aşk için Gelmişiz by Mustafa Ceceli. Akşam Güneşi by Orhan Gencebay. And Delalim by Ibrahim Tatlıses. And then they will also do a little medley after that. Thank you.
Ses.
Aşk için gelmişiz biz bu cihana. dostu sevmektir bizim işimiz.
Aşk için gelmişiz biz bu cihana, dostu sevmektir bizim işimiz.
Allah der her bir zerremiz, ayar görenden bize ne, ayar görenden bize ne.
Yer gök seslenir her dem Allah, benlikten geçenin yaridir Allah.
Yaşlı bulan neyler ki bu dünyayı, her dem seslenir o Allah, 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 dostu sevmektir bizim işimiz.
Aşk için gelmişiz biz bu cihana, dostu sevmektir bizim işimiz.
Allah der her bir zerremiz, ayar görenden bize ne, ayar görenden bize ne.
Yer gök seslenir her dem Allah, benlikten geçenin yaridir Allah.
Aşkı bulan neyler ki bu dünyayı, her dem seslenir o Allah, 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 gözümü yollardan kimsesiz bıraktın şu gurbet ellerde sanki kara bulut seni saklıyor benden. Ne olur, ne olur, ne olur dön bana. Bak yine döndüm akşam güneşi, akşam güneşi. Siverek'in yoluna, hey Siverek'in yoluna, toydum düştüm toruna, hey toydum düştüm toruna. Bu sevdalar boşuna, hey bu sevdalar boşuna. Belalım, 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 belalım. Siverek'in yoluna, hey Diyarbakır yoluna, toydum düştüm toruna, hey toydum düştüm toruna. Bu sevdalar boşuna, hey bu sevdalar boşuna. Belalım, 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 belalım. Mardin kapısından hoplayamadım, Mardin kapısından hoplayamadım. Biralarım döküldü toplayamadım, biralarım döküldü toplayamadım. Ben onu yazıp yazdım yollayamadım, ben yâre mektup yazdım yollayamadım. Durmayın arkadaşlar ben yaralıyam, el alem al dizmiş ben yaralıyam. Hey hey hey. Pınarbaşı vurma vurma yar 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 aman. Yaz gelince öter turnam, leylim 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 aman. Yaz gelince öter turnam, leylim 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 aman. Çayırda buldum seni, ellere vermem seni. Kendime alsam seni, sineme sarsam seni. Çayırda buldum seni, ellere vermem seni. Kendime alsam seni, sineme sarsam seni. Thank you.
The next song, Rainbow Connection, just had to be in this concert. And I asked the string quartet for program ideas, and my fellow violinist Carol mentioned this one. And then Ray, our violist, sent me a link to a blog by David Hoffman of Baruch College in New York. And the blog is called Shadows of Light, Exploring the Tradition of Utopian and Dystopian Thought. Anyway, Rainbow Connection was Hoffman's top pick for utopian songs, and here is part of his explanation. Rainbow Connection offers no blueprint for a better world, no program of reform, only the hope that there is something better to be had somehow. But isn't the vague, never specified better world at the other end of the rainbow a true vision of the good place/no place signified by the term utopia?
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know the wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Da 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 dee da da doom, da 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 dee da da doo.
This is one of the songs our cellist Matthew suggested, and I jumped on it because I have a real soft spot for this one. The video depicts a sort of a drunken fantasy complete with a furry monster character, but it's just such a catchy tune. But what I learned in preparation for this concert is that Best Day of My Life was conceived in reaction to the Sandy Hook school shooting. And the band, American Authors, was recording in a studio very close to Newtown, Connecticut. And they were just shocked by the proximity and the profound tragedy of it. And their response was to try to write something, as their bassist explained, so simplistic that it can be an earworm that can carry people. Star Trek came up a lot when I mentioned the idea of utopia to people, and unless they are certain rare people who have never watched a new Star Trek, that was Guillermo too. Yeah, he said he'd never seen any Star Trek. So, The premise is that all of the major issues on Earth have been solved. The Earth is part of a benevolent federation of planets, and the Starship Enterprise is on a voyage to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before, or no one, as they updated the phrase in the 90s. The thing that always surprised me about that show was the amount of high-tech gun battling that took place. And I guess that's the job of a peacekeeping force, a term which has always struck me as a real oxymoron. Whatever you may think of Star Trek, there is no doubt that the original series has one of the best TV themes of all times, and talk about earworms. And I must admit, there might be endless reruns of Star Trek: The Next Generation in my utopia. I'd like to, actually, I'm going to do something else first before I invite Jade up. I'd like to introduce the musicians that are on stage with me. Carol Calvangian on violin. Ray Ostwald on viola. Matthew Agnew on cello. Kent Wayman on piano and keyboards. Ken Habeck on bass and also composing. Kevin Kizer on saxophones. Neil Wayman on drums. And I'd also like to thank Gary Wendt, who's over there. Guillermo Muñoz Küster. The members of the Chancel Choir who sang earlier. Elliot Dvorin. Group Yakamoz. Jade Mays. And last but not least, but our sound guys are so important, and they are Barry Nelson and Kevin Kalal. I have some other thanks to run down really quickly here. I want to thank Robin Woodsum, who helped so much with the art exhibit, and all the artists who have works out there. Gary Wendt, who is the person who really spearheaded the Simple Gifts concert series. We have an ongoing concert series here at the church. Tanya McCarthy, who really stepped up, designed a beautiful poster and program, and helped out so much in other ways. And also Susan Woodsum, who just organizes everything around here and also helped so much with the art exhibit. Laura Heiser and Betsy Martin, who both did some publicity. The Hands of Peace staff, Debbie Fosdick, Emily Kenward, Diana Cutlow, Deb Lawrence, and Lisa Notter, and Jill Mergel and her team, who will be serving refreshments later. Linda Padian, who has been taking photos. And I also need to thank my daughter, Isabel Trier, who helped me to coalesce my ideas about UTOPIA, and my son, Owen Trier, who is just so patient and listens to all of my nutty ideas all the time.
And a big thank you to Katherine Hughes for organizing all of this.
So after our next piece, and also I'm going to invite up our new minister here, but enjoy the art exhibit. There will be refreshments out there, and also please leave a free will donation or purchase some artwork to benefit Hands of Peace. And I would like to invite up the Reverend James Matarazzo, our new senior minister at Glenview Community Church, and I have him to thank for the Dr. King and Maya Angelou readings that are in the program.
Thanks so much. I was asked to do an interfaith prayer, and I actually found one. So that's good. If I can find it again. Okay. Thank you for being here at Glenview Community Church to support Hands of Peace, which began here 20 years ago? How many, 20? Or more? I think it's 20 years ago. Right after 9/11. Which brings over youth from the West Bank and Gaza, the State of Israel, in the Holy Land, and people from this community and in San Diego to get together for mutual understanding. So we're very happy to be associated with it, and we're happy that you're all here. Thank you to all the musicians. It was wonderful to hear you all. I really enjoyed the Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie, so yeah. So I watched that stuff. So I'll leave you with this blessing. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, Return no one evil for evil. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all people. Love and serve one another, rejoicing in the power of the human spirit. Amen.
The Beatles released the song Revolution as a UK single B-side in 1968. The band was viewed as leading the counterculture, but they had rarely expressed any overtly political views. Because of pressure from Leninist, Trotskyist, and Maoist groups, John Lennon started to feel that they needed to speak out, so they released Revolution with its decidedly pacifist stance. Lennon started writing it on a retreat in India, and the phrase at the end of the song, "It's gonna be all right," came directly from his transcendental meditation practice there. It can be very powerful to say, "It's gonna be all right." And sometimes that's enough of a utopian vision to keep us going.
Destruction. Don't you know that you can count me out? Don't you know it's gonna be alright? Alright. Alright. Yeah. You say you got a real solution. To see the plan. You asked me for a contribution. Well, you know, we're all doing what we can. But if you want money from people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you have to wait. Don't you know it's gonna be alright? Don't you know it's gonna be alright? Don't you know it's gonna be alright? Yeah. Change the Constitution. Well, you know, we all want to change your head. You tell me it's the institution. Well, you know, you better free your mind instead, yeah. If you keep repeating the cycle of hate and war, you're gonna make it with anyone anymore. No, don't you know it's gonna be